Alright, and we're back with another video. Oh, this one's going to be tough too. So at least we know what this list, because we're going over WCW. A little bit shorter of a time frame. And I had to really pull from I had to pull a list of guys that I had. But then also pull and like really critically look at who I was a huge fan of. Because some is like, oh, it's easy to say, like you're super popular. But was it popular were you popular to me? How did I feel about you in the ring? All that stuff. So for transparency again, I have 2 honorable mentions. But other names mentioned that did not make the cut. Just looking at those lists is depressing. Hogan, Juventud Guerrera, Flair, which I know has to be surprising to a lot of people because Flair, hell, and one can make an argument he was WCW for a long time. Kevin Nash, Lex Luger. He actually was a really big Luger fan growing up, so for him not to even make honorable mention is a big deal to me. So then that begs the question, who's honorable mention? 1. Giving the Cruiserweight some love. Didn't even have him on the WWE list, where he had more success. But I really enjoyed his matches in WCW, so I had to make my honorable mention Rey Mysterio Jr. Kind of hated when he was with the Filthy Animals and didn't have the mask, given the history of masks and luchador. It just was really jarring to see Rey without a mask. But hey, what works for him, works for him. I always enjoyed his matches. He had some great matches with Dean Malinka and Eddie Guerrero. So, I'll take what I can get, and I'll be happy with that. Another one that I wanted to list as a runner-up consolation guy was Booker T. So if you're thinking about Booker T, since I can't go full-on tag team, that might be another video. Great career with his brother in Harlem Heat, but then breaks free, multiple-time TV champ, and he went from there. And as the company's winded down, he's a main event guy. So major props to him. Believe it or not, one guy that I didn't mention on this list that probably was surprising people, Scott Steiner. That's a whole nother conversation, but I'll just save it and say at some point he'll be on the tag team list. But we're not there yet. Shall we though? Number 5. Of all the cruiserweights to be on the list, this might come as a surprise to one. Or as the one that did make my actual top 5 was Dean Malinka. Man of 1,000 holds. Watch his matches though. He can be a power guy with the cruiserweights. He could keep an up-tempo match with them too. But again, my style, I prefer guys who are super technical. Dean was. He was really good. Loved his finisher, the Texas Cloverleaf. He had great matches. Like the one with Mysterio, he beat Mysterio, but man, that was such an amazing match. Like he was able to, I feel like he was underappreciated because he was a cruiserweight, but he had some really good matches. And I'm glad that he was able to have the success he was able to have in the company. Number 4. Probably low on the list again, Goldberg. Now, I wasn't as into the craze as everyone else was. Probably not until he started hitting like 55, 60 wins. But I remember Nitro in Atlanta and how I felt. Such a freaking cool moment. I remember how I felt when he had that match with Sting, that big fight feel. I really was rooting for Sting. We know how the matches ended. That and the second match was at Slamboree. The first match I think was at Slamboree. I'm trying to remember that. You had match at Slamboree, I think Bret Hart interfered, and then you had the match, which must have been the second one. I think the first was when he was in the Wolfpack. I might have him backwards at this point. I think I have it backwards. I think the first one was when he was in the Wolfpack, and they just had a match on on Nitro. Because this dude is just so intense. He has the best spear in the business. No one, not Edge, not Batista, not Reigns, no one spears like Goldberg. And the jackhammer, like in his peak, super, super impressive. So much raw strength and power. It's some of the guys he was able to lift up are just, it's crazy. Scott Norton up in the air? Get out of here. The Giant for a jackhammer with relative ease, not super easy, but relatively easy. Get out of here. Like, you just don't expect to see stuff like that. And then here's an interesting one. So number 3, Macho Man Randy Savage, the madness. Why WCW and not WWF? I feel like that's the first question that people are going to have. Because then you look at some of his matches, the career versus career match against the Ultimate Warrior, the Mega Powers main event against Hogan, helped them being the Mega Powers in the tag team themselves, and then his match with Flair. Here's why I like this version better. This Macho Man seemed to be more evil when he was with the NWO and after he left the NWO. Macho Man as a face was great, but I feel like he really went in a different direction being a heel when it worked for him. I still appreciate, the jackets and the tassels. Looking over here, like the tassels that you had under the arm sleeves. He has the coolest entrances. I love this theme song. Elbow drop. I've heard that he broke a few ribs. Dropping, wanting to make it look as realistic as possible. But he had some great matches in WCW. The first one that comes to mind is DDP. They tore the house down. Some of the issues you obviously had with Hogan in the NWO is interesting. Still mad that he cost him the title. But twice. Because Nash got hit by the pipe the second time, and whatever. We're not going to get to that. Point is, I like this version of Macho Man better because he listened to Bobby Heenan. He really sold it. He was just more dangerous. He was just more like a time bomb. His tick just didn't know when he was going to go off, and he was out of control when he did. And you learn to appreciate stuff like that because it gave a different depth to his character than what you got from the typical face Macho Man. And it grows on you. It really does. 2. Diamond Dallas Page. Started as an older guy in the business, so he started late. So the clock was super ticking on him already. And it just goes to show that fans do appreciate hard work. This man busted his ass. Had some of the silliest gimmicks to start out. And he was able to make DDP work. The master of the Diamond Cutter. First of all, Diamond Cutter, RKO, whatever. I don't care which you prefer, but I'll tell you what, DDP really sold it as like it comes out of nowhere. You never know how it's coming, but it always comes. Whether it's on the apron, whether you're tied up in the ropes, whether you're on the top rope, you just never know. And it would come out of nowhere, and man, he would show it off too in a great way. But the one thing I liked is early on he stayed as a face. He did join the NWO, and I think that helped build him and make him more credible and likable at the time, even though you knew he was doing well. Then he had that feud with Macho Man that started to really ascend him. So, main event guy, face heel, didn't mind. Still gave me and many the best match, in my opinion, on Raw. Nitro, defending the championship against Sting. Earlier in the night, dropping it. He won it back later that night. Thanks, Macho Man. Screwed Sting. Well, screwed Nash, but screwed Sting. But DDP was one of those guys that worked hard, and you could see it. And it's kind of like that Daniel Bryan feel. You just gravitate because you know how much work he's putting in. You want him to be successful, so you feel like you're a part of his success too. Really like it. And number 1, Stinger. It's my favorite wrestler. I wish I got to see him in WCW. We were a year too late. couple weeks too late. Um, Bleach blonde hair with the face paint, colorful face paint, pants, don't care. I'll take that. Crow sting dropping down from the rafters, doesn't say a word, white face paint, I'll take that. Like, I thought they were both really different versions of him. They both worked out good when he was a face. When he was a heel, I thought it worked for him. When he joined the Wolfpack, it seemed like out of character, but it still worked for him. Dude is amazing. I'll tell you guys something. I'll talk about it on stream a little bit on Twitch. But if anyone remembers Super Nintendo, WCW Super Bowl, there were 12 characters, 8 characters, one of them was Sting. No one could pick Sting. We would sit there, because if we were playing at my house, I pick Sting. If you hover over Sting too, if you pick Sting, we just sit on the character select screen. No one else ever got to be him. WCW versus NWO World Tour. Me, and only me. WCW NWO Revenge. That's it. That's my dude. I love later on how he developed a Scorpion Death Drop, so it wasn't just a submission, so it gave him another move to be able to work with. Some people don't like wrestlers that have multiple finishers because it almost feels like you weaken or lessen one in order to use the other one. But I like it because it just gives a match a little more unpredictability. For example, Goldberg has a spear and Jackhammer. Jackhammer is always coming after the spear. So you know how the match is once you hit that spear more than likely. Though with Sting, you don't know. Is this person gonna tap out? This guy gonna tap out? He's gonna get to the ropes. Does he eventually lock it back in again? Or does he go for a death drop out of nowhere? You never know. I feel like that adds variety into their matches too. You know, characters and wrestlers that have more than one finisher. Sting's my dude though. Again, the Crow version, if we ever would have got a match with him and The Undertaker, I think it potentially could be, especially in their primes, could have been one of the best matches in pro wrestling by just in his history because of what they meant to their companies and for them to do battle on the big stage. It didn't even have to be a main event. It would have been like a co-main event just because of the fandom. But man, that would have been such a great match. I can't say anything else about Sting. Like I'm probably gonna go on for like another 10 minutes if I do. But he is my favorite wrestler of all time. I really wish that he got a chance to face The Undertaker. Grew up as a kid for Halloween being Sting. Couldn't do the bleach blonde hair. I mean, I did have a flat top, but we won't talk about that on stream. But the face paint, I was totally down for. Sting was my dude. Sting was my dude. So that one was a little easier. Some top 5 for WCW. Leave your comments below if you agree, disagree. Did I leave someone that was blatantly obvious out? I'm pretty sure I could have. No one came to mind, though. Something egregious. Maybe Vader. I could hear an argument for Vader, but just not for me. But those are my 5 favorites. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Next one will cover the top 5 NXT. I'm sure you know who's number 1, but who fits 2 to 5. We'll talk about it. Catch you next time.